Welcome back. It's the Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM. Joining me now is Nikki Reynolds from the Weekly Times. She usually catches up with me for a chat on the Country Viewpoint, but we've brought her on for the Flow Friday Sports Show this evening because she's got a spectacular story to tell us about regarding the Billabong Crows, who are, of course, one of the clubs within our Flow FM sports network. And this is a great story. Nikki, before we get to it, welcome along to the Flow Friday Sports Show. How was your Christmas and New Year's?
It was good, but it was really busy. At the Weekly Times, we head into January and the focus goes straight into those calf sales that happen at Wodonga and then, of course, through the Western District. So it's been a really, really busy time. But, yeah, thank you for having me again.
Well, as I say, it's great to be back with you and there's a lot to get through. We'll start first with this great story about the Billabong Crows, who, of course, are a part of our Flow FM network playing in the Hume Football and Netball League over in Hume, New South Wales. So just tell us about this story because there's obviously an agricultural element tied into it and it's a great story to kick off, Nikki.
That's right. So I'm going to sound really biased here, and I'm sure everybody in the community is. This story has got everything. It has country footy, of course, the Billabong Crows. It has charity or fundraising work. It has a stellar wheat crop. It actually had 9 headers in the paddock at once. So it was just a really, really fun story to pull together. And what better way to raise a bit of money for your club if you live in a country area than by growing a wheat crop? So the club's been doing this for a while. This was their 6th consecutive year. I think they grew canola last season. And this year it was wheat. And we caught up with the club president, Kevin Martin. And he was so proud of how it looked and how it performed. At the time, they were still stripping the crop and it was doing something like 4 tonnes to the hectare. But the really interesting thing about this was it just took probably 2 or 3 hours to harvest it, just given it was not a very big area in terms of hectares. It was 230 hectares, but to get 9 headers in that paddock all at once, it was quite a spectacle. The club has later gone in and taken some drone footage of those headers all working. Quite a few of those people who were driving the headers definitely have a connection. Who knows, there could have been even a few first grade players on those headers getting the crop in. But Kevin was telling us that the footy club is just such a huge aspect of the town there at Oaklands. Like, he basically said the footy club is the cement or the glue that holds the town together. It's a social outlet. That's also a really big cropping area around that region, and we've had a tough season. It's been wet. There's been delays. There's been all sorts of issues with getting the harvest in. But they've already started like what we call pre-season training, and Mr. Martin said that he's really, really optimistic about the outlook, about how his team's going to perform this year. He said they've started off performing well. He was a bit tight-lipped about exactly who they had, but they've got a few good recruitments. They've also got some local players, obviously, and he said training was going really, really well, and he was hoping that they'd have a great year in the Hume League. He himself is a former player. He joined the club at just 15 years of age, and he's been president for 5 years. So he's had a really, really big connection with that club. Like he said, it's the lifeblood of the town, as footy clubs tend to be, or as they are. The actual paddock where the crop was grown was right on the side of the road. So it was just about 4 or 5 kilometres out of Oakland, out of the township. But because of where it was located, it meant that people could drive past, they could see it right from when it was sown. And it was also a team effort with the footy club in terms of getting it sown. And they could watch how it went all through the year when we had plenty of rain and just see how it performed. And like I said, great community spirit. I would say practically everybody in Oakland's had something to do with this wheat crop.
An absolutely mammoth community effort from the Billabong Crows, and it's not actually the first time they've been in the news in more recent times, Nikki. They had Dane Swan, the Collingwood legend, front out for them back during the 2022 season. I just wonder, going back from all your experience in the stories you've covered across various regions, Nikki, the actual charitable element of this story and the way it ties into the cropping, can you sort of relate this to anything that you've covered in the past or anything that you've heard about? Because it is sort of a unique kind of coming together of various forces, as you mentioned before there.
Yeah, for sure. So there's definitely other clubs in the Hume League that do fundraising ventures based with an agricultural nature. So they'll either have a crop. I've even heard of shearing days. Then moving to, say, Wagga, there is a charity steer that goes under the hammer every year, not so much for a sporting club, but that raises money for Country Hope. Agricultural charities tend to do really, really well. So, in terms of Hume League and just where it's located and what a farming community it is, there are definitely other agricultural fundraising ventures that we hear of.
Nikki Reynolds, the journalist from the Weekly Times, lending some of her time to us here on the Flow Friday Sports Show this evening for that exclusive story. And well done to the Billabong Crows. They know how to make their way into the news, don't they? Well, that is our first hour wrapped up here on the Flow Friday Sports Show, but so much more coming your way in our second hour this evening. I'll catch you back here shortly. Don't go anywhere.